the most morally good characters in fiction. That's what we're going to be talking about today, okay? And understand this, I have covered evil characters a lot. Like a lot, bro. Like at borderline, like y'all kind of make a meme of it that like, how is he going to shoehorn Griffith into this video? And to that I would say, there you go. But one thing I'm shocked I've never done is I've never gone through characters that I think are the best interpretations of being a good guy. And I think part of the reason why is it's way easier to define evil than it is to define good, in my opinion. Like, I'll give you like a hot take right out of the sun. You can be a really good character in your story, but if your ideals were never tested, then I really can't put you at the creme de la creme. Like I'm gonna hit you with this hot take right out of the gate. Batman is not the piece de resistance of morals. No. In fact, I would argue that Batman's morals are so naive that it actually hurts more people than it helps. Okay, like there's a crass out coming. There is a crass out coming, and y'all are going to be really surprised by it. But that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. And to give you an idea of the type of characters that we're going to be covering, we're going to be going over characters like Thorfinn from Vinland Saga, Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars, Arthur Morgan from RDR, Aang from Avatar The Last Airbender, and, of course, Superman from the DC Comics and DCU. There's so many DCUs, I'm just going to say DCU. Okay, that's what we're going to be covering today. And if you plan on enjoying this video or learn something new, please consider a like, comment, and subscribe. We are trying to get to 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And if we don't, do you know what I can say? We 100% getting 500,000 before the release of GTA 6, dog. Bro, November of next year. I'm sorry, I don't want to side tangent, but bro, we're hitting 500,000 before the release of GTA 6, dog. We got this, dude. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. Let's go. Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. I don't want to be too preachy, and I'm okay with doing it on Vinland Saga because it is very apparent that is what they're trying to do with like biblical imagery. Thorfinn, well, and here's the truth. Vinland Saga is not meant to be like a Christianic story. Thorfinn's one of the best interpretations of redemption in a character I have ever seen. Like, the idea that every character should be given the ability to be redeemed. That, hey, no, it's not, we don't have to cause, like unaliving to these people when there are other ways. I don't want to cause undue harm. I only want to do enough to get the job done and not more. And you see Thorfinn's character and it makes sense. Like, if you go through the life of Thorfinn, he sees his father get iced in front of him and gets raised by the person who did that to his father. And only to be brought up in a mercenary lifestyle where he realized that all of this violence just begets more violence and never ending a cycle of fathers taking other fathers, sons taking up their arms, taking their fathers, sons to sons. And it's just an endless cycle that's going to keep on going. And then you have Thorfinn here that is so tired of this saga because his entire point of pursuing this way of violence is to take out the person who took out his father, only for that person to do something that is very selfless of him and give Thorfinn a chance to live his own life. Not in a way if he wants him to be a better person, but to give him the ability to live his own life. So you have Thorfinn, a character that has been in this endless cycle of, well, if I just avenge my dad, everything's gonna be okay. Only to be caught in this scenario where all of this violence just keeps on spinning me out. So what do I want to do? I have no meaning. There is no more revenge. There is no none of this. What am I going to do? I want to live just a farmer's life. I want to live a basic life. I don't need much. I just need enough to keep me busy. And then from there, he gets the realization that you can do change. You can be a good man. And it's him trying to figure out what does it mean to be a good man. And he ends up taking the teachings of his father, not fully understanding why his dad was the way that he was. And then you find out that this entire thing is meant to be repeating of a story of his dad, because his dad was also a part of like the Norse Vikings of the North Sea. And they were just this incredible raiding group. And he went away to Greenland, went to Iceland more or less to trying to escape the King Harold of the North Sea. Like that, there's so much in Vinland Saga, and the point that I'm trying to wrap to is that Thorfinn is a character that has committed all of these violent acts when he was a child, only to come up as a man and realize that I didn't get anything out of that. So I want to try something different. I want to live the life that my father tried to live. And if it ends up not working out for me, I'm okay with that. But I want to make the people around me be better after I'm gone. And I'm going to be real with you, dude. That is such a good, like, the truth is, man, you kind of have to put Thorfinn in, like, at bare minimum, just a great man. Is it quite Boy Scout? No, because I'll cover Boy Scout in a second, because at the end of the day, the ideals of Thorfinn were not something that was taught to him in, like, a children's book, that are so naive that it's basically like, don't do this, that bad, unaliving is a bad thing. No, Thorfinn's like, okay, but what are you gonna get out of that? Yeah, sir, get revenge. What are you gonna get? You think you're gonna feel better? You think that's going to bring your family back? No, it doesn't. In fact, it makes you more sad because now your purpose is gone. Thorfinn's ideology is something that wasn't like taught to him directly. It was something that he lived through. And a good theme throughout this is I have a heavy favoritism to characters that were morally gray or bad and became good, because it's cooler to me if you went through a lot of bad things and you are not defined by it. Like people get this twisted. Like, is your past you? Yes. Your past is you. Your past does matter. But it's not the events that happened. It's how you overcame them. Who is the person you choose to be after going through all of that? That is what defines you. I'm sorry I'm getting preachy here, but I love Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. It's so good, bro. After the Berserk, we're getting in the Vinland, bro. Great man, gotta put it right there. Captain America. Now, this is a Boy Scout. This is a Boy Scout right here, okay? Like, bordering on naivety, but his morals are so... it's not that they're rigid, because he also has a sense of duty. Now, it started from growing up in the 1930s, kind of being the little guy that gets counted out, hating bullies, and more or less just trying to be the best man that he can be and help the most amount of people. How many lives can he save by giving his life is essentially what it's boiling down to. But on top of that, he also has this intrinsic morality of, like, not discipline, but duty and service. And that comes from, again, serving in WW2. Like, Captain America doesn't have an unalive rule. No, I'm not going to say that. He doesn't have a no icing rule, dog. He doesn't have that, bro. No. Captain America will murka, bro, if you stand in his way a little bit too much. And at the end of the day, bro, I respect that infinitely more. Like I don't want to go into the full anti-Batman, like, literally, like, ripping apart his moral belief system. But, like, Captain America's way more reasonable to me. Is it perfect? No. Because it kind of turns into a point where he's kind of like the poster boy of, like, this is how you conduct good. Like, this is how you do this well. And then it kind of gets into a point, it's like, no, you're going over a very morally gray thing. But I think Captain America is a pretty good way to navigate this. Even it down to, like, his weapon being a shield. He doesn't want to straight up be, like, offensively attacking somebody. But if they do come at him, he will defend with, like, an actual amount of ruthlessness that, now, he's gonna murka, bro. He'll play on defense, but he'll murk you. And then you get into, like, the MCU renditions of him like, he leans more Boy Scout, like, it is, to a point where it's like, hey, no, Bucky, Bucky does deserve a punishment for this. It's like, oh, well, he didn't remember. It's like, I hear you. But I need you to understand whether he remembers or not is null and void, because that deals with his intrinsic guilty conscience in himself. But what about all the people that, like, Winter Soldier got rid of? Like, what about all the loved ones? Like, I'll say this, Civil War is my favorite MCU movie of all time, because it is one of the few times where having two heroes face each other makes complete and utter sense to me. You have an impulsive Tony Stark that is dealing with the fact that he just found out that one of his best friends is defending his best friend, that he finds out that Captain America knew that Winter Soldier iced his parents and didn't say anything. Yeah, in that moment, that makes a lot of sense to me. And Tony Stark is also a very morally flawed character as well. But Captain America's going in Boy Scout. Captain America's going in Boy Scout. Now, I do like Thorfinn more than I like Captain America. But I'm gonna put Captain America in Boy Scout level. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Dude, people were like, bring up Luke. Brother, bring up Kenobi. Kenobi had every right to be a Sith. Literally every right to be a Sith. Like, people talk about, like, all the crucibles that Anakin went through. Brother, Obi-Wan went through just about every single thing. It's just like, oh, well, lost out on his mom and dad. Yeah. Kenobi never really knew his parents. Okay, number one in there. It's like, oh, well, I mean, like, Anakin had to deal with the loss of his mom. Okay, Obi-Wan had to deal with the loss of his master, which was also basically a father figure to him in Qui-Gon Jinn. And he went to go duel Darth Maul and realized that, like, hey, yo, yeah, emotions actually do kind of help. I can be angry and still take out Darth Maul. Like, I need you to understand this. From that point on, Obi-Wan Kenobi had an argument to be made that the way of the Jedi is, like inherently flawed. Because Kenobi lost out on Qui-Gon Jinn due to, there's so much that you can get into Kenobi for. Like, Kenobi's such a good, case study on, somebody that, is the perfect Jedi. Like, people talk about how Luke is the perfect Jedi. No. You need to understand this. Luke is one of the best iterations of taking some from the dark, some from the light, and creating your own form of ideology and philosophy to make it through, and it's ever evolving. Your philosophy as a person should have a few anchors, but it should be ever evolving depending on the situation that you're getting into, and use your core principles to navigate this. Kenobi has such a rigid ideology, but he conducts himself so perfectly. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the perfect Jedi. Literally everything that Jedi has a love interest gets iced. And number one, he 100% had a kid. There is no way I'm sorry, that man was not celibate. There is no way that Obi-Wan Kenobi was celibate his entire life. Absolutely no chance. Okay, Kenobi loses out on his love interest, and then he witnesses the fall into darkness of his brother, literal brother in every sense of the word, in Anakin Skywalker, and still chose to uphold the rules of the Jedi because he saw those as the more moral of what Anakin Skywalker was doing. And then you get brother, I'm glazing so hard right now, but Obi-Wan Kenobi is so good as a Jedi to the point that he is my perfect, representation of a Jedi. Now, in terms of being good, the only parts of Obi-Wan Kenobi that I would challenge is that the ways of the Jedi are so rigid and so naive that it's basically just playing intergalactic wizard cult. That's literally, that's what it sounds like to me. Emotion bad. Bad emotion is. Sadness leads to anger. Anger leads to the dark side. So, Yoda, how do we fix this issue? Go to desert planet, I do. Wait for 20 years, like bum. Okay, so we're just avoiding things now? Okay, that's how I feel. I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of the Jedi either, but Obi-Wan Kenobi, to me, is the best representation of the ideals of the Jedi, and his ideals are, not just punished, but challenged. When Darth Maul comes back, with the loss of his love interest, with the fall of Anakin, it's tested over and over and over again. But Kenobi still chooses to be a Jedi. He's a good man. Wait, let me move that down. That was a different one. Spoiler. Kenobi's going into good man. No question. I gotta put him in good man. Arthur Morgan. Now, I get it. Not a great guy. The Arthur Morgan that we play as is the best version of Arthur Morgan. I 100% get that. But again, bro, I have favoritism to bad guys that turned good. I really do like that, bro. I'm like the popular girl at high school trying to get with the bad boy, dog. I like that aspect of he has problems, but he can be a better person. I really like that in characters. Arthur Morgan's one of my favorite. I actually like Arthur Morgan's iteration of it better than John Marston, because John Marston is a better representation of he has a past, but he became a father and he's trying to become the best person for his family. Whereas Arthur Morgan's trying to be the best person for the people around him, and he lost out on the chance to be a family man. So some people will argue, what's the difference between Arthur Morgan and John Marston's, tripped into being, a morally good character? Arthur Morgan's being good in order to give other people the chance that he did not have, or the chance that he fumbled. And I think when you're playing as Arthur Morgan, and it's so tragic because you see all of the ways out that he had. You find out later on in the game that he did have a kid. He could have been a father, but that was snuffed away from him from people that were living the same life that Arthur Morgan was. And that is a brutal reality that Arthur blames himself for the loss of his son, but not just in the way he wasn't there to protect them. The people that iced the mother of his child and his son were people that lived a very similar life to Arthur. So in his mind, I am unworthy of love. I am unworthy of children. I am unworthy of peace because people like me did that to innocent bystanders. So he punishes himself with servitude. And I think that's such a cool aspect of a character, and like his coping mechanism is self-punishing himself with like the lifestyle of being an outlaw. And he views Dutch van der Linde as a father, whereas Dutch van der Linde, yes, did care about Arthur, but Dutch is more in love with the idea of freedom than he is in love with the idea of like seeing Arthur Morgan as a son. And then we go later on, Arthur Morgan like falls in love with Mary, and Mary, you find out that there was like some rekindling of an old flame there, and there's a way out there. He can throw away the outlaw lifestyle in order to live some aspect of a life with Mary, but he can't. Not because he doesn't love Mary, but because he thinks that Mary deserves a better love. Mary deserves to be with a good man, not a man like me, not a man like it's so good. Because Arthur's entire moral conundrum is he punishes himself for not being there. He punishes himself for being the same type of person who got rid of his own kid. He blames himself for all of this. So he views John Marston, and he'll throw jokes at him, he'll throw jabs at him, but to me it's all like brotherly razzing anyways. But I think whenever he's like cruel to John, I think part of it comes, it's like, John Marston, you dumb motherfucker. You have a way out. Go with Abby. Raise your kid. Live a life outside of this. You have a way out that I didn't take. Be there for them. I was not there for mine. You need to be there. And then John is being given the lesson that Arthur Morgan had to learn the hard way. That's why Arthur, in like his last step of like trying to like take the money, get out of here. My life doesn't matter here. Let the last thing that I do give you the chance that I never took. Oh, it's so good, dude. RDR2's final act is so good, dude. Understand this. I put Arthur Morgan, he's a flawed character, but he's improving. I'm not going to say good, but like, I'm sorry. Dude, you can't play the final act, the good ending of Arthur Morgan, and be like, dude, that was... you could do a full, slight, video essay on how the entire end, third act of RDR2 is meant to be like this representation of Arthur Morgan giving the chance to John that Arthur didn't fully take back then because he didn't realize it. I love it. I'm putting Arthur... Oh, and then you can get into the epilogue where John Marston didn't fully listen to Arthur because he took revenge, and thus begets the cycle of you're red, you're wanted, you're dead, you're gone, and I'm sorry. I'm putting it in flawed but improving. Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Brother, I've glazed it so many times, but I'm sorry. Aang is one of the greatest representations and one of the best arguments for the no icing rule in the entirety of fiction. I will say this right now. Aang, at a 12-year-old, had a better understanding of basic morality than Batman does, dude. Aang's understanding of not wanting to end life is so it makes so much sense because at the end of the day he is still a child, by the way. And he learns this from the air nomads, and one of the last teachings that he was given is that it's not okay. It's never okay to end the life if you do not have to, okay? You are interfering with destiny by taking other people's destiny away from them. But then he views that all the most peaceful group, people that didn't want to end any life, were snuffed out by a group of people called the Fire Nation. And now he has this internal rage of, he has the duty of being an avatar and bringing balance. But he also has the teachings and philosophy of people of the last, air nomads. That's why Avatar: The Last Airbender, at least maybe I'm looking too deep to this, you have the two identities of Aang, being the Avatar and being the last Airbender. So Aang is torn does here. Who does he become to the people of Avatar: The Last Airbender? Does he showcase himself as the interpretation of the ideals of the air nomads, being the last airbender and not wanting to end the life of Ozai after everything, and thus continuing the teachings and not sullying them? Because the moment that the last teachings of the air nomad get snuffed out by the last living person of their teachings, then the air nomads are really gone. Their morality is gone. Their philosophy is gone. Their people are gone. Their teachings are gone. So Aang wants to champion these. He wants to keep these going because that is how he keeps the air nomad way of living alive. But then he's torn between being the avatar and bringing balance and bringing justice. And they want him to basically, and it's not even in like an anger. It's not a revenge. It's not a redemption. It is a justice. To get rid of Ozai is to conduct justice. It is to punish a man who did all of this. And understand this, Aang's a far better person than me. Not hesitating for a second, Ozai's getting executed, not even a remote question. But that makes him a better person than me. 100%, and he finds a different way. He understands the gravity of everything that has to go on. And even at that point, he doesn't want to, and he's begging Ozai, don't make me do this. Because he is so much more powerful than Ozai. That's another thing that is really big, because some people are disappointed by the fact that, like, Ozai, the moment Aang started locking in, got absolutely throttled by Aang. But I always view that as that is one of the greatest testaments to how good of a character Aang is. Like, how morally good he is. He has the ability to absolutely destroy Ozai, get this over with, no, nothing, wipe my hands of this, I have conducted justice for the extermination of my people. But he doesn't. He has the ability, but he doesn't because he still wants to give Ozai a chance. I'm sorry, bro. Literal sainthood level morality. I have to put it there, bro. Bro, I'm having so much fun in this video. I like doing, like, the moral cases because it's so good. So good. I'm putting him in sainthood. Atticus Finch. Oh, my goodness. You didn't think I was going to pull out Atticus Finch on the most moral characters video? Brother, of course I am. Okay, sorry. Atticus Finch, for anyone who doesn't know, is from a story where an African-American gentleman is accused of a crime that he did not commit. And this is right before the civil rights movement of the 1970s. And what essentially happens is that this African-American gets tried and found guilty of a crime that he did not commit. Atticus Finch is brought in as a public defender to defend this man. And Atticus, throughout the entire thing, is meant not to be a symbol of, like... I'm trying to find the best way to put this. Atticus Finch, if I had to boil down his morality, it is justice incarnate and with fairness. It's not an overwhelming sense of mercy that he feels for this man that he believes was found guilty without due process. No. It's not empathy. It's not anger. It's not any of this. It's that he wants to be the justice to the system. There's a quote that he has that... I'm gonna butcher it, and I'm sorry if I'm gonna butcher it. That doesn't hit hard, and like it. Like I reread the quote like right before this video, and I'm still thinking about it because it's such a hard quote that you don't fully realize it when you first read it in high school. But right now, it's kind of like, damn. So to set the scene for you, okay, this African American was found guilty of a crime that he didn't commit. This is right when they read it and they start sentencing. And Atticus Finch, okay, defending this man, knowing that he is not guilty, finds out that he was found guilty. He does not rage out. He is not angry. He doesn't start pointing at the judge and saying that you did a bad job. All of you are bad people. I hate all of you. That's not what he says. Atticus Finch puts his head down, looks up, and he just says something along the lines of, I mourn that justice was sullied by the flawed nature of, like, human nature. And that's such a good, like, let me actually get the full quote on that. There's gonna be a cut here, but I want to get this one right. Okay, just found the quote. The one thing that doesn't abide by majority rule is a person's conscience. That's such a hard line, dude. Like, Atticus Finch, I'm glad you read it in high school because it lays the seeds down to like, no. Like, in the pursuit of justice, you're going to find people that are inherently angry. There's people that believe that they were wronged, and then there's people that didn't actually do anything wrong, and they're being found guilty for a crime that they didn't commit. And all Atticus is trying to do is he's not coming at this from a place of naivety or morality. He's coming at this from a place of, I just want to be the justice for this person, whether he's guilty or not. And I believe that he is not guilty. He mourns that the justice system was sullied by just how flawed the human condition is. And when I take in all that, bro, I'm sorry, you do gotta put Atticus Finch into, like, a great man. I'm gonna put him in the great man, dude. I'm gonna put him in the great man. You have to, bro. I know there's a sequel to the book that's not that good, but I'm gonna put him in the great man. Spiderman. Brother, I'm gonna be real here. I put Spider-Man in the same, like, category as Guts in terms of characters that just get put through way too much for, like, no other reason than, like, I think the authors of Spider-Man low-key hate Spider-Man. No, like, I'm being honest here, bro. Like, how many times do I have to see Spider-Man, like, have his, like, Mary Jane get with another dude? Like, that's another thing, dog. Like, I always hated that. Like, what? Like, why you gotta make Peter Parker low-key kind of be the guy that sits in the chair in the corner of a hotel room? That's so weird. I really do dislike that, because it's at the end of the day where it's like, listen, Peter, move on. Well, that's just Mary Jane. Mary Jane for the streets, dog. Mary Jane for the streets. Understand this. Ain't nothing wrong with being a bop. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just be a bop away from me. That's how I look at it. But like, Spider-Man goes through the loss of his parents, go through the loss of his Uncle Ben, and then you keep on going, go through the loss of Aunt May, loss of Mary. Like, brother, he loses literally everybody to the point that it becomes like a contest of how much you can put Spider-Man through only for him to continue to be a good person. Like, Spider-Man has such grit, has such willpower to continue to be the best person that he could possibly be, despite everything that he goes through, to the point that, like, any times that he doesn't, people, like, get mad about it, but, like, there comes a point where I'm like, brother, Spider-Man goes through so much trauma that he has every right to be a villain. Spider-Man could be a villain tomorrow, and I'd be like, bro, what took him so long, bro? And that's why I kind of put him in the same category that I put, like, a character like Guts in terms of how tragic it is. Not like good, because I think Guts is a bit more morally gray than Spider-Man is. It's not even close. But, like, brother, Brother, I put Spider-Man, honestly, Boy Scout, not even a question. Like, we're, like, Boy Scout into sainthood, borderline. Easily. Jon Snow. I know I roast Jon Snow from the Game of Thrones. We're going over the TV show because the books, he's not the best guy. I'll just say that right now. And I think Jon Snow in the books, it makes way more sense in terms of how he is, but that's a whole other rabbit hole. Jon Snow feels like a character from Lord of the Rings that was dropped in the Game of Thrones. Like, he is so morally pure that it actually bothers me, but he's not morally pure in the way that it's like, he does no wrong. Like, no, he does some stuff that is gray. Like, no. Because he had to set a precedent, this one kid decided to assist in him getting stabbed and sent out into the next lobby. Jon Snow's like, okay, I have an order. You have to be hanged. I don't care if you're a kid, bro. Fuck them kids. That's really what he does, bro. And I respect that, okay? You got to lay down the law. People get mad at Jon Snow for icing Daenerys. No, 100% you have to do that. End this cycle now. The only good type of Targaryen is dead Targaryen. That's all I got to say, bro. Not really, I'm like partly joking here, but like Jon Snow, like it bothers me when you're watching it because Jon is so clearly the most morally kind and like morally good character there is, to the point that it's like, give me a little bit of moral grayness, Doug. Like, brother, this ain't Narnia, lil bro. This is Westeros. You gotta. I can't believe my enemy would take out the children, brother. What do you mean? Of course they would. Have we not been icing children this entire time? Like, are we being for real? Like, that, I think that was the funniest part where Jon was like, I can't believe that they did this. What do you mean? Why are you surprised? You've been doing this for years. How are you surprised that they would do that? Like, that's the part that bothers me. But I do think Jon Snow goes into a good man argument. And yeah, I am going to put him below Atticus and Thorfinn. Why? I'm petty. I am petty. I'm going to put Kenobi over him too, actually. Because Kenobi's ideals were actually challenged way more than Jon was. I'm going to put Jon in good man. Sam from Lord of the Rings. Brother, top 10 homies of all time. Greatest friend of all time. Dude, Sam is so cool. Dude, no. Sam is such a bro that this guy's over here like... Everyone else is being like, oh my goodness, man, I'm going to do this for riches. We're going to be heroes of Lord of the Rings. They're going to sing songs about us. And everybody's talking about like all the things that they'll gain from this. Sam's over here like, you think Rosie will be impressed by this? And you hear that and you're like, ugh, bro's a simp. But then he's like, you realize that it's not coming out of a place that he just, he wants to pour the biz quick. That's not what he's doing. No, he's so morally pure and innocent in like the way that he like cares for Rosie that he's legitimately like, I want to tell stories to my children. Bro, that's like the sweetest thing that I've ever heard. Like, no joke, bro. Like, the ring tried to tempt him too. Now, understand this. Frodo gets a lot of slack from me to the point that he was, like, literally carried up the Mount Doom. And Sam, being the homie that he is, did it. The ring tried to tempt Sam, and it realized it couldn't really, because they found out that, like, Sam's, like, a really good guy. It's like, I will tempt you with women. Sam's over here like, well, I mean, I just want Rosie. I don't really need women. I just want Rosie. It's just like, okay, I'll tempt you with money. I don't really want, like, that much money, man. Like, really, I'm kind of doing good the way that I'm doing. Okay, do you like food? Like, maybe I can give you a steak or something? I don't know, man. I really like a good potato stew. And I don't really trust you to make a good potato stew, so I'm gonna make that. I imagine Sauron's over here like, what? What? I can't corrupt him? Of all the powers that I can't corrupt this guy? He's just face palming right here. It's like, I cannot believe I got the one motherfucker that doesn't care. I got the one guy that apparently, like, I just can't. Like, he just like, you just see the eye of Sauron in the distance, like, how? like that's really what it is. Like, Sam's just such a good guy. It just doesn't work on him. Brother, I'm sorry. I'm putting it in sainthood. Sam has graduated the sainthood, argue with a wall. He's such a good dude. You gotta put him up there, bro. Everybody needs a homie like Sam, and you need to be like Sam, dude. Guts from Berserk. Now, I said that he would be in the same category as like a Spider-Man. No. I meant in, like, the trauma that they go through. He's not the best. I'll just say this right now, like, some people are like, I give him a pass for, like, all the things that he does because he could, like, because of the eclipse. And it's like, kind of. I don't look at Guts as a villain because of what happened in the eclipse. I don't think Guts is a good person. Not until, like, the later interpretate, like, the farther you go on. But even then, like, no, bro, Guts has, like, iced quite a few kids. Like, quite a few. Like, a few of those were, like, direct orders, and he was like, alright, I'll do it. Another one was, like, basically for the love of the game, because he didn't really know how to exercise them, so he just murked a bunch of them, too. And you also get the Casca thing where he, like, we gloss over just how, like, traumatic that was, and I get it. He was like, well, he was possessed by the Beast of Darkness, and it's like, no, the Beast of Darkness is literally part of him. So he had those inclinations, and it just overtook him. So he's kind of like, this is the point that I'm trying to make here. Guts isn't a villain because of the eclipse, but I do believe the greatest virtue of Guts is his ability to struggle. Okay? His ability to struggle, to go through everything that he went through, and he still tries to be a good person despite everything. I think that is his most admirable trait. I think I do have to give him to that. But I do believe there is a point where I'm like, I put Guts in the same argument I put, like, an Arthur Morgan. Like, after everything that they went through, they still try to be good people. I think that's the best part. Flawed, but improving. Batman! Here we go now. Let me put my thesis statement forward. I think Batman's moral code is so morally naive that it's like a children wrote it. No, not a child, like a child wrote it. Because Batman, I believe, Bruce becomes Batman as a way of becoming the hero that he didn't have when he was a kid. And he has this such idealized version of what justice should be, to the point that the no icing rule that Batman lives by is so, it's so surface level, and there's it doesn't hold up. It doesn't. Real world morality doesn't agree with you. Psychology doesn't agree with you. Dude, like, basic ethics don't work out with you. Brother, the entirety of Batman's logic system gets absolutely annihilated if you hit him with the most basic of hypotheticals. So I'm gonna do the train track one. Would you rather ice one person that's innocent, or 5 people that are guilty? Well, I mean, like, what's the greater loss of life? I mean, like, one, I can't make that. You can't force me to make that decision. You're putting yourself in that position to make that decision. And actually, that's not even a good example, bro. It's literally like, hey, tell me, what is worse? Would you rather get rid of one person that is literally just evil, shows no sign of redemption, is just an evil human being, or 20,000 people that are innocent? Batman will look at that and be like, those are the same things to me. Brother, you cannot convince me that the entirety of Batman is a coping mechanism of a child who never fully comprehended that his mommy and daddy are not coming home. I'm not kidding. It is so basic. It is so naive that it doesn't hold up to basic ethics. It just doesn't. People talk about, what about Superman? Nah, Superman okay, we'll cover Superman in a second. Brother, now we're getting into the Red Hood one, brother. I love the Red Hood storyline. I love that. It's my favorite Batman storyline. The one part about it that I dislike is they have to frame Red Hood as literally the worst possible interpretation of his belief system in order to make Batman not look like one of the biggest hypocrites there's ever been. Red Hood's literally just ice the Joker. I'm not saying Two-Face. I'm not saying Penguin. I'm not saying Riddler. I'm not saying Killer Croc. I'm not saying Bane. I'm saying ice the Joker. And he's like, I can't do that. Bro, I can't. Batman has lost his mind. Batman's lost his mind. And I'm not saying that Batman is poorly written. That's not what I'm saying. The authors of Batman's very clearly meant to make the Batman to be a tragic character. Because he's... the entirety of him playing Batman is literally a child coping with the loss of his parents. He has not gotten over that. Even in the Batman Arkham games, he still struggles with it to that day. He never got over it. Well, I mean, brother... there does come a point where you do gotta start icing villains, and it's just basic. It's basic. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Batman's moral system, bro. I think he's a great man. I do. But dude, he's not. The reason that he's... Oh, and here's another thing. Oh, well, what do you mean, brother? The reason that Batman is not icing characters is not like Aang, where he's like, I want to give them a chance because of my teachings as the air nomad. Batman's not doing it so they can be redeemed. Batman's doing it because he knows that once he starts doing it, he won't stop. If I believe Batman here, Batman is a psychopath. Batman is one of the most selfish characters there's ever been. If that's actually what he believes, and that isn't a line that was thrown out there, you mean to tell me that the reason that you have not iced the Joker isn't because you believe that he could be redeemed? Is it because of justice? Because the capital punishment for Joker would be literally just, we would get rid of him on the spot, by the way. No, it's not any of that. The reason why Batman doesn't want to ice anybody is because, well... it'll negatively impact me. I'm sorry, I'm putting Batman. He's a great man. Great man. And Bruce Wayne's done a lot of good to help Gotham, and that's frankly what puts him here. Brother, Bruce Wayne's done more good than Batman, if we're actually being honest here. But, I hate Batman's morality system because it's so basic, dude. Superman. Yeah, no, I do think Superman has a better moral system than Batman does, because Superman will ice a fool. He will. Now, are there parts of it that I dislike? Yeah. I think it's dumb that the moment that Superman ices Joker, he just becomes space dictator. That's dumb. But, brother, him icing... I know people are going to be like, well, what about in Man of Steel? Okay, Man of Steel's, kind of canon. Not really canon. It's not canon at all, actually. No. That made sense to me. That was literally... dude... I need you to understand this. Under Batman's moral system that is set up, and how most people understand it, if Batman was in that position where he either had to ice General Zod or let those 5 people get iced by Zod, those are two of the same things. He can't do anything there. Those are two both equal value in life right there. So dumb. But Superman did it. Superman decided, no, I have to get this done. But also, that comes from a comic where it's a separate reality where the Kryptonians managed to take over the entirety of Earth. And Superman end up, getting rid of Zod. And Superman has proven that if it does come down to it and you do hurt somebody that he's close to, brother, he's taking the gloves off and he's going to remind you how powerful he is. And I think it's admirable from Superman because the reason that Superman doesn't like icing people isn't because it's to make him feel good. No, it's to set a precedent of, I have the power to become judge, jury, executioner, and God. Okay, I am held to a higher standard than a normal man. If I can decide who lives and who goes, I need to do this well. I need to be as charitable as I possibly can be. I need to set a precedent for the people around me. But he will go far enough to, if you personally wrong me and my people that I love, I won't hesitate. And I respect that way more. I'll say this right now. Y'all don't want to hear this. Batman, when he lost Jason Todd, still did not get rid of the Joker. Brother, if Superman lost out on, his sidekick or lost out on... Brother, if Superman lost Crypto because of the Joker, Joker is getting sent to the sun. He's gone, bro. I'm sorry. I'm putting Superman in sainthood, dude. I am. I'm putting Superman in sainthood, no question. Luke Skywalker. Now, let me get the controversial statement out of the way. I don't think Luke Skywalker is the perfect Jedi. I do think he has some of the best morals out of both of them. I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is the best interpretation of what a Jedi is. But you see how flawed the Jedi way of belief is. And Luke Skywalker is somebody that believes in the good of people. He is somebody that treasures love. And that's another thing. How can you say that Luke Skywalker is the best interpretation of being a Jedi, yet the way that he loves and cares for the people around him is in direct in conflict with the way of the Jedi? No. Jedi, Luke's belief system is better than a Jedi. It's better than the Sith. But he takes parts of their belief system and blends them together into his own. I know, it gets kind of dumb because then that kind of gets rid of, then that's the gray Jedi. And then in reality, Luke would probably be a gray Jedi, but he leans closer to being a Jedi than he does being a Sith. But he's closer to being a gray Jedi than in a super Jedi like Kenobi. And I think when you're taking all of that into account, where Luke is still trying to give a pathway to redemption to his father, Darth Vader, who's done all of this because he believes the good that he can do. Now, later on, they kind of just ruin this character because he almost ices Kylo Ren literally off of bad vibes. I'm not kidding. Nearly gets rid of Kylo Ren, his relative, because of bad vibes. I need that. Bad vibes were the thing. But I do think Luke, when you're going through everything that he's done, the chances that he's given, you do got to put him in the Boy Scout territory. The Boy Scout territory, I think, is valid. Mark Grayson from Invincible. Now understand this. Mark will run you damn fade. Absolutely decimate you, okay, with how powerful he is. But at the same time, he's a man that's just trying to do the best that he can, okay? And I think an aspect of Mark Grayson that they're doing a lot better in the TV show than they did in the comics, is that the thing that makes Mark Grayson a good person is not his father, it was the influence of his mother. And I think that's so good. That is so good. The idea that the only thing that kept Mark Grayson good was the influence from his mom, and that Omni-Man was also influenced by Debbie, and that kind of softened him a little bit. Being a father softened him a little bit. I'll say this right now, bro. The Viltrumites glazed the moment they got with some Earth women. Glazed. that was a bad word. No. That was such a bad phrasing. No. The Viltrumites softened up. Literally the moment they got with some Earth women. Bro, Omni-Man continued his Viltrumite warpath up until he nearly got rid of Mark, and Mark was the variable that made him want to be a better person. You keep on going, all of the hardship, all of the pain that he goes through, losing out on growing up with his daughter, losing out on Eve, that happening to him between him and Anissa. All of this. He has every right to be angry, be bitter, but he still wants to live a life of belief and still try to be the best person that he can possibly be. Not for himself. And I think this is where I will go, and I think I'll respect the morality of a character. It's one thing to be good for yourself. It's one thing to be good as an example to people that are going to come after you. I think that's one reason I really like Aang, because the reason that Aang didn't ice Ozai wasn't to make it easier for himself. No. It was to set a precedent for the people to come after him. And Mark Grayson is just by the end of it, trying to set a new precedent for the Viltrum Empire and try to give a better life to everybody that's going to come after him. And then you get by the end of the story where he has his own little fight with like his own Omni-Man versus Invincible fight with like his kid, and he handles it way better because he's trying to give Marky a better lesson than he was given. I'm going to put Mark Grayson, honestly, bro, great man. Great man category, no question. Borderline Boy Scout. I'll put him in Boy Scout, actually. Uncle Iroh from Avatar The Last Airbender. Brother, I'm sorry. That episode where Uncle Iroh, you get the reveal that the reason that Iroh is kind of like you hear that Iroh was one of the greatest generals of the war with the Earth Kingdom. Like, you hear all of these stories, but then you see it's contrasted with what we're seeing now. And you realize that the reason that Iroh is kind of softened is that he saw the reality of violence. He saw how bad it can get with the loss of his son. And realizing and mourning the fact that he has done this to so many people. And realizing just how much that this conflict will cost. What good is the reward of the spoils of war if it costs you everybody that you're going to celebrate it with? That's a fire line, bro. But anyways, the fact is that Iroh losing his kid and becoming a better person after it, like, he could have become bitter. He could have become way worse. He could have just gone scorched earth, absolutely decimated every single person that was even slightly responsible with the fall of his child. But he's still... Not even still, he changes his belief system. He realizes that the pain he's feeling is the pain that he inflicted, and he wants to be a better person. He wants to do better. He wants to teach a better lesson to Zuko. He wants to be a better example to people that come after him, and he's still going to keep on going. Iroh, honestly, I'm gonna put him in sainthood. You have to, dude. I cried. Sainthood, no question. And there you go. Those are the most morally good characters in fiction. If you enjoyed this video, consider a like, comment, and subscribe. And we're trying to get to 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And if we don't hit it, we're going to hit 500,000 before the release of GTA 6. I already know it, bro. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. And it's honestly, bro, I love the moral discussion videos are my favorite because I love like really getting into the philosophy of characters and even like people throughout history to understand why they believe the way that they believe. And this was probably one of my favorite videos I've done in a minute, dude. I love this, okay? If you enjoyed it, like the video. You know what, bro? Let's try to get to 5K. Let's try to get 5K likes, bro. Let's try to hit 5K likes, okay? That's going to be the goal for this one. If you can do that, we can do another video very similar to this. And we can do the best interpretations of different philosophies. What? Who's the best interpretation of, like, nihilism, blue pill? we got a lot of stuff that we can do, okay? But anyways, I'm yapping it off. See you later, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Adios, guys.